Let's talk about the 2015 NHL Entry Draft. Specifically, I want to talk about the top 3 guys. Connor McDavid at number 1, Jack Eichel at number 2, and Dylan Strome at number 3. I'm bringing up this draft because it was supposed to be the quote-unquote generational draft. And today, you look at the list of draft picks from that draft, you got McDavid, Eichel, Strome, of course. You got other guys like Marner, DeBrusk, Chabot, Brock Boeser. These guys are guys that are making impacts on their teams. And you take a look at the later rounds, we got ourselves 7 players taken beyond round 1 that have played more than 10 games in the NHL. Some of these guys are actually regulars. You got guys like Sebastian Aho in the second round. You also got Brandon Carlo, who is arguably the best Bruins draft pick of this draft, despite the Bruins picking 3 straight in the first round. You also got guys in the 7th round that are playing in the NHL, like Nutivara. He's playing for the Blue Jackets. He has 86 games played in 2 NHL seasons. And I wanted to talk about this because this was a good draft. And we're seeing a lot of the players from this specific draft making their stride in the NHL. And a lot of these guys have a lot of potential. A lot of these guys taken in the 2015 draft are just going to get better and better. And if you look within the past, 5, 6, 7 years, the 2015 draft could be argued as the best draft that we've had, just in terms of talent, capabilities, and potential. And I don't think that that's a problem. I think the problem here comes with the purpose of the draft and the impact, the team's impact, and the success of the players in this draft. Now, I wanted to talk about 1, 2, and 3, McDavid, Eichel, and Strome, because I was looking at the standings a little bit earlier, and there's a kind of a meme going around Instagram and Twitter talking about this, but the bottom 3 teams in the NHL, on NHL.com, if you search by points and you go by games played, the worst team in the NHL is the Arizona Coyotes, 27 games played, 16 points. The second worst team in the NHL is the Buffalo Sabres, 25 games played, 16 points. Then we got ourselves the Edmonton Oilers. They are third last with 25 games played and 22 points. This is absolutely atrocious in my mind, because you're taking the guys who got drafted in spots 1, 2, and 3, and their teams today, 2 full seasons after these guys got drafted, and their teams are still number 1, number 2, and number 3 in terms of the worst teams in the league. And this is what I mean about player impacts and team success, because it's so unfortunate that the Edmonton Oilers are still in contention for Rasmus Dahlin. I'd be so pissed off if they got Dahlin, the franchise defenseman along with the franchise centerman. Oh my goodness, it's incredible how lucky some teams can get. But that's not even the case. The case here is that they're not supposed to be in this position. The Coyotes have gotten a few good prospects over the past few years. Why are they down at the bottom? The Buffalo Sabres, they've been losing for ages. I remember watching Beyond Blue and Gold and seeing all the previews and the research that the Sabres organization was doing before they drafted Jack Eichel. And I remember Tim Murray, at the end of this video, he said, "We've lost a few games recently, but now it's paid off." Well, it doesn't look like it's paid off. It's 2 years past that, and the Sabres are still last in the NHL. They're tied for last with Arizona. So, what's the problem here? I'm trying to figure out, because taking a look at these 3 guys, okay, Connor McDavid, he's played 3 seasons in the NHL, and he was the Art Ross winner last year. He's a generational talent. He's going to be the best player in the league for years to come. Okay, that's obvious. Jack Eichel, number 2. He's not doing poorly as well. He's got 19 points in 25 games right now, and he is one of the best players on the Sabres organization, if not the best. 132 points in his career. just under a point per game. Dylan Strome, on the other hand, well, this guy's kind of a story, because Dylan Strome has only played 10 games in the NHL with 1 assist. He's been absolutely blowing up the AHL. 26 points in 15 games for the Tucson Roadrunners, and he just got recently called up to the NHL. He's pointless in 3 games, and so far, even though Dylan Strome has been called up to the NHL, he's still second in points in the AHL. 1 point behind the leader. So that doesn't mean that these guys are bad. These guys are really good players. McDavid is fantastic. Eichel's fantastic. Dylan Strome is proving himself in every league that he's played in except for the NHL. And he's getting a shot at the NHL this season. So what's going on? We got the 2015 entry draft. Okay, I'm talking about this draft. And I'm talking about team success. If we want to talk about team success, we can talk about all of the other teams, because Mitch Marner, he's not doing as well as he did in his first year for the Maple Leafs, but the Maple Leafs are still in a pretty good spot right now. The Islanders have arguably the best offense in the league, and Mathew Barzal is a big part of that. Brock Boeser is the best offensive player on the Vancouver Canucks, and he was taken in the mid-20s. We got a lot of players in this draft who are coming out of their shells and becoming fantastic players now, being such impactful players for their teams that they play for. And we got other players like McDavid and Eichel and Strome who are proving that, yeah, we deserved to be 1, 2, and 3. Okay, Strome is debatable because he hasn't played that many NHL games yet, but calm your pants down. Strome still has talent, and he still is a player who's capable of playing at the NHL level. That's why he's playing. That's why he was tearing up the AHL. So this season so far has been a statement by these 3 guys saying that, yeah, you know, it wasn't a mistake to draft us here. But what does that mean? What has that turned out into the teams? This has turned out to be 3 teams who drafted 1, 2, and 3 in 2015 who are now bottom 1, 2, and 3 this year. Despite having these good players and these good draft picks, the teams Edmonton, Buffalo, and Arizona are still in the Dahlin sweepstakes. And that's scary. I don't want to see Edmonton, Rasmus Dahlin throwing the puck back up to Connor McDavid to score a shorthanded breakaway goal. I don't want to see that. Buffalo I'd be okay with, honestly. And Arizona, well, I believe Arizona just needs a break. They've gotten so many good draft picks recently. Clayton Keller is absolutely tearing up the league, but that team still can't find ways to win. And I just want these teams to succeed. I want these players who got drafted, I want these good young players to develop and prosper into the best players that they're capable of being. And I don't think guys like that are going to succeed when their teams are bottom 3 in the league. You got guys like Connor McDavid, he's going to be generational no matter what. But no matter how talented he is, I believe personally that his talent will be inhibited if he doesn't have a good team around him. So, really, there isn't a point to this video. I'm just talking about how I really wish that these teams could be better. Because if we get these teams to be better, then we get the players that they drafted to become better players as well. And overall, that leads to better players in the NHL, it leads to more entertaining games, it leads to more scoring, it leads to a better hockey. And it's disappointing right now to seeing these 3 teams suffer as much as they are, even though they've already suffered so much in the past. These teams have gotten such good draft picks recently. Buffalo, they started it out with Sam Reinhart, then they got themselves Jack Eichel, then they got Alexander Nylander. Where are they now? They're tied for last in the league. Arizona has the Calder favorite Clayton Keller on their team, ripping up the NHL, and they're also tied for last in the league. Edmonton has probably the 2nd best player in hockey, Connor McDavid, on their team right now, the Art Ross winner last year, and they're 3rd last in the league. This is incredible, but also incredibly frustrating as well. And overall, I just hope that these teams get better, because I want to see these players get better. And I want to see these teams play well with good, motivated players. And players who are motivated play better. And that's what I want out of these players. I want these players to become good, superstars. They were drafted this high for a reason. Hope you guys enjoyed this video for Plus, like, not subscribe, and gaming, and bye.